most people think, oh, it's a happy feast between Pilgrims and Natives, but that is not so, as you will soon find out as I go on. Good morning and happy Thanksgiving, guys. If you're in the U.S., that is. Have a happy day if you're not in the U.S. or if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So it's Thanksgiving, and that's exciting. It's different for me this year, though, because this Thanksgiving for me is going to look more like the Thanksgivings of my childhood. I am too sick to help at all with the cooking, and usually I help at least with a few dishes, but the past few years, I have done almost everything by myself. That includes making 13 pies, 4 types of cranberry sauce, 4 types of dressing, 2 turkeys, and so much more. Green bean casserole completely from scratch, making my own base for it and making my own onions for it, and it has been a lot. And so I've been doing that the past few years. And this year I was kind of overdoing it by myself. I was so happy with myself for accomplishing it before, and then I didn't want to do it anymore because it was just too much. And so I was gonna have help this year. That was my idea anyways. But now my health just is not in a state to do it. It's been gradually getting worse ever since the summer, and my lungs have been terrible, and it's just basically affecting my whole body. I haven't been filming in a long time. Sorry about that. It's not because I didn't want to. I did, but my computer was getting older and it could no longer handle video processing. And if I would try to edit a video, it would take 7 hours to render. And due to a problem with the power cord, I couldn't ensure that it would stay on for 7 hours either. And those 7 hours, my computer was unusable too, because it was just taking all of its power to render that one video. So it just was not working. But due to being a freelance writer, I bought my first big purchase with my income, and I got an Acer Predator 17, and I love it so much. So I can edit videos again. That's how I edited my ColourPop makeup video that I posted the other day, and I'll be continuing to use it. So I'm really, really happy with that. Let's see if I have that right. I'm about to eat some snickerdoodle muffins Caroline made. So those are good. Ow. But appropriately for how I'm feeling today, I am wearing my Not All Disabilities the visual shirt. I got this from Ellen Marie on, I think the website's called Bonfires. Occasionally she'll have these shirts going up. If you go to her Twitter, you can find links to them, and they're epic, and it's very appropriate. I didn't even intend to wear it today. Last night I just needed a shirt after I cut my hair, because the one I had been wearing had little hair stuck in it, was making me itch. And so I put this on, and now it's very appropriate. But yeah, my grandfather will be coming over in a couple hours probably, and aside from that, we're not having any other family over because we had pre-Thanksgiving dinner with the family, both sides of the family over the weekend. So it's gonna be a slow day for me because of my illnesses. I'll check back in a bit because I feel really bad. So since it is Thanksgiving, I wanted to take a minute to reflect on the real story behind the holiday, and just all of the natives who have been harmed throughout our nation's history, and prior to our nation being formed too, as well. And so, yeah, many people taught in school are not taught the real meaning of Thanksgiving. Well, sorry, the real meaning of Thanksgiving, I believe, is the meaning we give it today. Today we give it the meaning of spending time with family and giving thanks, whether to God or to whatever religion you celebrate or don't celebrate, whatever. I think it's just today it is a day to give thanks, spend time with family or friends or just people we love, and that's the meaning of the holiday. But many people are unaware of the history of the holiday, which I think is important to know. I think it is our duty as colonizers to be aware of the harm that not only have our ancestors caused in the past, but that we are causing today. For instance, just today's day and age, we are still causing much harm. So I'm looking away from my phone, from the camera. I'm trying to find the resources on my phone so I can get the names right and everything. So just today, for instance, we are still causing harm, whether it's putting pipelines through native land or, in this case, the current administration is trying to take away the land and from the, what's the name of the tribe? I want to make sure I pronounce it as close as possible. I'm sorry if I butchered any pronunciations in this video, guys. Wampanoag tribe. This is the tribe that helped the Pilgrims at Plymouth, and they are now saying they don't qualify as a tribe and are trying to take the land. And so the harm that our ancestors caused to natives is not all of the harm that has been done. It is continuing to this day. And by the way, I'm using the term natives because from what I've seen with the people I have interacted with, that is the term here in America. For the ones I have seen, I want to clarify that, because if you hear from someone that they prefer being referred to as something different, respect what they want to be referred to as. It is their right to be called what they want. Just like I prefer people call me disabled, not differently abled, or some other euphemism. Let them be called what they prefer. So from what I've seen, though, the ones here often prefer the term native, not Native American, because we stole the land from them. They don't want to be called American under the name of their oppressors, which I get. I mean, I wouldn't want to if I was in their shoes. So yeah, we are still causing harm to natives to this day and age, which is especially why I think it's important to note the abominations that we have done to natives. Our ancestors committed attempted genocide. It's that plain and simple. And so let me tell you the true story of Thanksgiving. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy a happy holiday with dressing and cranberry sauce and pie with your family or friends and give thanks. It just, yeah, Deku, here's your food bowl. It just means that you need to be aware of history, especially because the harm is still being done. Deku, will you please be quiet so I can film this? Yeah. He has... I know, Deku. I put your food bowl there. You can eat. I'll add links in the descriptions. That way you can see some of these resources for yourself. But, let me tell you this story. Sorry if I'm looking at my phone while I do this, but because I don't have a screen reader I don't know, I can't remember the term, you know, what they use on TV and stuff to help them know what to say. Okay, the story of what we refer to as Thanksgiving began in 1614 when a band of English explorers sailed home to England with a ship full of Patuxet natives bound for slavery. They left behind smallpox, which virtually wiped out those who had escaped. By the time the Pilgrims arrived in Massachusetts Bay, they found only one living Patuxet native, a man named Squanto, who had survived slavery in England and knew their language. He taught them to grow corn and to fish, and negotiated a peace treaty between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag Nation. At the end of their first year, the Pilgrims held a great feast honoring Squanto and the Wampanoags. This is what most people consider this is the story that is often referred to as Thanksgiving in most homes. People think, oh, it's a happy feast between Pilgrims and natives, but that is not so, as you will soon find out as I go on. But as word spread in England about the paradise to be found in the New World, the Puritans began arriving by the boatload. Buying no fences around the land they considered it to be public domain. Joined by other British settlers, they seized land, capturing strong young natives for slaves and killing the rest. But the Pequot nation had not agreed to the peace treaty Squanto had negotiated, and they fought back for their safety. The Pequot War was one of the bloodiest native wars ever fought. In 1637, present-day Groton, Connecticut, over 700 men, women, and children of the Pequot tribe had gathered for their annual Green Corn Festival, which is our Thanksgiving celebration. In the pre-dawn hours, the sleeping natives were surrounded by English and Dutch mercenaries who ordered them to come outside. Those who came out were shot or clubbed to death, while the terrified women and children who huddled inside the long house were burned alive. The next day, a governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony declared a day of Thanksgiving because 700 unarmed men, women, and children had been murdered. No, Deku. Please be quiet, Deku. Don't eat my poster. No eating posters. Cheered by their victory, the brave colonists and their native allies attacked village after village. Women and children over 14 years old were sold into slavery, while the rest were murdered. Boats loaded with as many as 500 slaves regularly left the ports of New England. Bounties were paid for Indian scalps to encourage as many deaths as possible. Following an especially successful raid against the Pequot in what is now Stamford, Connecticut, the churches announced a second day of Thanksgiving to celebrate victory over what they referred to as heathen savages. During the feasting, the hacked-off heads of natives were kicked through the streets like soccer balls. Even the friendly Wampanoag did not escape the madness. The chief was beheaded and his head impaled on a pole in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where it remained on display for 24 years. The killing became more and more frenzied, with days of Thanksgiving feasts being held after each successful massacre. So, you may be wondering how that tragedy turned into the happy feast that us present-day Americans assume it was, rather than a massacre and a celebration of murder and genocide. Years later, President Washington first tried to start a holiday of Thanksgiving in 1789, but he did not intend it to be anything about natives and pilgrims. In fact, written into the Declaration of Independence is the phrase, "merciless savage Indians." Yet, many people are ignorant to that fact. It wasn't until the writer Sarah Josefina Hale persuaded President Lincoln that the Thanksgiving holiday was needed and could help heal the divided nation that it was made official in 1863. But even back then, it was not the story we were all taught today of happy natives and pilgrims sitting together eating a feast. Instead, it changed over time. According to the 2009 book, Thanksgiving, the Biography of an American Holiday by James Baker, who was a researcher at Plymouth Plantation, when the United States became a global power rife with industrialization and urbanization, it saw a rise in nationalism. As Europe immigrant as European immigrants poured into the country and the Protestant Americans who massacred indigenous people feared being displaced, colonial ideology became the identity of what it was to be truly American. They began implementing these teachings to clearly define Americanism for the new immigrants. One of these was the sanitized story of Thanksgiving, which fabricated a peaceful depiction between the colonizers and the tribes, and neglected to mention the amount of death, destruction, and land grabbing that occurred against the first peoples. Setting the tone for the next 200 years, by 1920, writes Baker, the story of pilgrims and Indians became a story every American schoolchild was taught, even in native schools. As you can see, it is different than many people were taught, but I think it is important to recognize our past and the wrong our ancestors have done, and the ways we are still neglecting the natives who rightfully belong here more than we do. And I still celebrate Thanksgiving. I still enjoy a feast and giving thanks and spending time with my loved ones. But I also make sure that I reflect on how we have gotten here, and that it is not the story that most Americans believe. So I've been playing Skyrim for hours, and I finally just changed out of my pajamas. And what time is it even? It's 7 o'clock. I better sit down so I don't fall. I already fell once. So I've been having to use the wheelchair. But I just changed clothes. I'll show you what I have. I have this autumnal skirt and this blue shirt that has a black heart on it. It used to be Caroline's, but now it's not mine. But my grandfather got here a bit ago. I just couldn't get to greet him because of how I'm feeling. But now I have had some time to recover from falling a bit ago. I'm going to try to go out there for a few minutes. So I am one out, but whatever. Mom and Caroline were really one out because they've been cooking all day, and I wish I could help them, but I was too sick. So, whatever. Hopefully I'll get to rest some in a bit. I know it's not easy to cook, have so much pressure on Thanksgiving. I've had it for the past few years. I wish I could take that off of them, but I can't.